Hey guys, obviously this turned into a two-part video, and if you didn't catch the first part, be sure to go back and watch that first so that you can get all 11 of the categories that I have for intentional gift ideas for your kids. Apparently I just had too many fun ideas that I wanted to share and I couldn't stop telling you about them. So here we are in part 2, and I will put a link to that in the description down below and around this video in the cards as well. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below letting me know which ideas were your favorite, if you're going to use any for your kids this holiday season, and also let me know if you have any other intentional gift ideas that I left out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So the fourth category for intentional gift ideas is open-ended toys. These are toys that encourage the imagination and the child isn't kind of boxed into one way of playing with the toy. Toys that would fit into this category can be anything from tea sets to blocks to even dominoes. My girls have been into playing with dominoes for a long time and they almost never play with them as dominoes. We have an old set that we let them play with whenever they want, so we don't mind if anything gets lost. And they make them into phones, they make them into food for their tea parties. Sometimes it is money when they are playing store, and they have unlimited ways that they can play with the dominoes. Things that wouldn't fit into this category are things that are made to be played with only one way. This also includes things like characters from TV shows or things that basically the manufacturer decides this is how this toy is supposed to be played with. Often if children have toys from their favorite show or movie, they will play with it that way, just the way that they have seen in the show or the movie. So you want to think, if you're looking at this category, of toys that they can really just use their imaginations and use the toys in so many different ways. And if you do this, there's a good chance that they will never get bored with the toys that you choose. The fifth category of intentional gift ideas is books. We love books at our house and they are almost always a hit with our kids. I am debating whether I want to do a full video with our favorite toddler books because I do have a post about that, which I will link in the description down below. But for this video, I will just show you two of my newer favorites. These are ones that we didn't have with the girls, but we have gotten with the little guy and we absolutely love them. The first one is I Love You Like No Otter. This is one that my oldest daughter actually bought for her little brother, and it is the cutest little book. It's really well made. It's kind of soft, the pages, even though it's a board book. And it just has really sweet little pictures and very short amount of words. So it's just the right amount that he can generally figure out how to turn the page by the time you're done. So I do recommend this book if you have any toddlers in your house. We have really enjoyed this one, and it's honestly the little guy's favorite too. He will pick it out in a whole pile of books and he will ask for it over and over again. And the other new one that I am in love with is Snuggle Puppy. So this one was written by Rose Rosner, pictures by Sydney Hansen, and this one is by Sandra Boynton, I think is how you say her name. And it's a little kind of song that you sing to them, and the way she wrote it, it's in a really fun rhythm, and it's just a fun book to read, and it's really fun for them to listen to. There's lots of really exciting pages, lots of colors. So if you don't have this one in your library, I also recommend it. Another thing that you can do with books, I have an example of this here, is again adding to an interest that they already have. So my oldest is in love with penguins. She always has been. It's been her favorite stuffed animal forever, and she generally chooses the pattern of penguins if there is that option for anything else. So my mom found her this book for last Christmas, I think, and it expounds on that interest that she already has. It has lots of pictures and a lot that she can read. This book will really grow with her as she grows, and she can learn more about every penguin in the world. Now, one other idea that I have for you with books is to find a series that you think the child would be interested in and get them one book from the series every year. I actually had an aunt when I was growing up that did this for my sister and I. Every year on our birthdays, she would buy either my sister or I the next book in the Little House on the Prairie series. So between the two of us now, we have all of the books, and I don't honestly remember which one belongs to which of us, but we don't really care. We just keep the whole set at my mom's house for any of the grandkids to look at now. And it was a really cool idea because we looked forward to it. We knew that we would be getting a new book, and it gave us a good set of books that we could have for our entire lives. So if you think that there is a set your children would be interested in reading, especially if they already love reading, this can be a good idea to just get them one every year, and it becomes a tradition that they look forward to. The sixth category is toys that develop hand-eye coordination. We love the Melissa and Doug shape sorter because it's a nice wooden one and it's very colorful with all of the pieces that you can put into the box. It's also easy enough that the kids can open it up and use it by themselves. And then for older kids, we also love a different Melissa and Doug shape game. And I don't have it here with me, but it's basically a mosaic with shapes and patterns, and the kids match up the shapes and create pretty pictures. But I will link both of those in the description down below if you want to check them out. The seventh category of intentional gift ideas that I have for you is puzzles. Now, a lot of times with little kids, puzzles can just kind of end up everywhere. You lose the pieces, they get bent up, they're hard for the kids to actually put together because they don't have those fine motor skills yet. But for my kids, I have really loved these wooden puzzles. So the pieces are a thick wooden material, and they're a little bit harder to snap together. You do have to kind of line them up correctly, but they're almost indestructible. You'd have to really be working at it to destroy it. I mean, you can see little nicks and dings on the edges, but they aren't going to get bent up. And they're a lot harder to vacuum up accidentally. And we've had this puzzle probably since my oldest was about 1, and it's still in really good shape. And then we also have this one here, that's an alphabet one, but it is the same idea. Thicker wooden pieces that aren't going to get vacuumed up accidentally or bent or just lost just because they're a little bit more durable. And then for older kids, you can do the same thing that we did with the books and expand on a pre-existing interest, like my mom also did with this puzzle for my daughter. This is actually a penguin-shaped puzzle, and it's just 100 pieces. It's nothing too overwhelming, but it is a little bit challenging because it's actually in the shape of a penguin. And when I did it with her the first time, it actually took us a couple of nights because it wasn't just the exact same size of pieces that you're used to, and the edges are a little different. Like in here, there's actually nothing. So it was kind of a fun one if your kids are interested in different animals. These ones are really fun. They have all kinds of different animals, but the penguin one is the one that we have because of my oldest. The eighth category for intentional gift ideas is games. We are big game people at our house. I think I've mentioned before, this is one area I am definitely not a minimalist. We have a lot of games and we play them all the time. So one thing that my husband and I often do is get the kids a new game to play for Christmas. Some of our favorites include Candyland and Hi-Ho Cherry-O. And now that the kids are getting a little bit older, they also enjoy Quicks, which is a fast-paced dice playing game. It's pretty fun for kids because they don't actually have to wait for their turn. You can do something every single time someone rolls the dice. So if your kids have a hard time waiting, it can be a really fun game for them. They do need to understand the concept of numbers a little bit, but we help them out and it's not anything too challenging. Another one that my oldest especially loves, she is 8 years old, is Splendor. Now this is much more of a strategy game, but she can handle the strategy and she's even beat me at the game even when I wasn't being nice and letting her. It's a really fun game for the whole family if your kids like games, and especially if they're interested in the strategy games but aren't ready for anything too intense. And a couple of other favorites that my kids have are Pretty Pretty Princess and Spotted. So I'll link all of those games in the description down below as well. Now this next category isn't really a category, but I didn't know where else to put it, so it gets its own category. And that is to have multiple people go in on a big item together. This has been really helpful in the past for my husband and I when we want to get our kids a larger item. We will let our parents know and any uncles or aunts who ask what the kids want for Christmas. Whatever you were already planning on spending, you don't have to do any extra. We can just all go in together with that money and be able to get them something bigger and better than we could individually. We've done this in the past for balance bikes. We've done it for museum memberships for our kids. And most people are very on board with this idea because they know the kid will enjoy the gift all year long. The 10th category that I have for you is experiences, and no intentional or minimalist gift idea list would be complete without this category. But I did want to give you a few different ideas for how you can do the experiences, because often these things are kind of bigger items. Like you think of museum memberships and things like that, and those can be expensive. So if you're on a budget, that can be a challenging thing to either get yourself or to ask somebody else to get for your child. But there are a lot of other ways that you can do experiences, and we'll go through a few of those now. The first idea for you is lessons. This idea I actually got from my in-laws many years ago because they asked if our oldest was in swimming lessons when she was about 3 years old. And she wasn't, and we didn't have immediate plans to get her into swimming lessons, but they said, hey, we would like to pay for a session of swimming lessons. Now, this was 5 or so years ago, and I know swimming lessons have gone up a lot since that time. It's absolutely insane how much they are now. But if you can find some cheaper lessons, maybe through a high school in your area, as we have been able to find, or sometimes community colleges or places like that have lessons that you can purchase at a cheaper price. The second idea is where you can learn something from the giver. So this could even be a lesson that the giver gives to the child. Maybe somebody in your family knows how to knit or crochet or quilt or play a musical instrument. And if they are willing to give that as a gift, then your child would also be getting to spend time with that person every single week or month or however often you do the lesson. Now, a lot of times people, especially grandparents, really want to give something tangible when they give a gift. So if they choose to do a lesson or doing something where they are teaching the child, you can ask them if they want to get a coordinating gift. So if they are looking at swimming lessons, get a swimsuit or goggles. Or if they're looking at crocheting, maybe they get some crochet needles or things like that, that the child will actually use as they are experiencing their gift. The third idea is a day or a weekend experience. So my parents did this for the first time a couple of years ago. They asked me, hey, what do your kids want for Christmas? And I said, you know, what they would actually enjoy more than anything is for my dad, who skis, to take them on a special ski day. And he did this one-on-one, so he had one day with my oldest and one day with my middle daughter, and the girls thought it was the absolute best present ever, and so did my dad. So it's almost become a little bit of a tradition where the past couple of years he has given them a little gift certificate for a special ski day with Poppy. And my mom thought it looked like so much fun that she has decided to start doing with the grandkids too, a special day with her. So she will take them to a museum or something like that. And again, they do this one-on-one, which is really special because kids often are with the grandparents in a group and they don't get that one-on-one time. So it's a lot of fun for my parents and for the kids. And you could also do this as a parent. You could take them out for the day. You could let them choose where they eat. You could let them choose a couple of different activities. And you and the child both will really enjoy that quality time together. And then the last idea is, of course, the larger memberships, especially if you get a bunch of people to go in together. They really aren't too expensive. I have been surprised how much cheaper it is to get a membership than it generally is to go even twice to a museum or a zoo or someplace like that. So if you get grandparents and aunts and uncles to all pool in together, then you can have a gift for the whole family all year long. And the last category of gifts that I have for you are gifts that make a difference. One way you can do this is the way we typically do, and that is through a catalog. We use the ADRA catalog, and I can link this in the description down below. But they have a whole gift catalog of gifts that people in other countries or even in your country need. They are things like help building a well, things like purchasing a goat for a family, purchasing chickens, purchasing school lunches. And they even have a kids catalog where every gift is only $5. So our girls will typically save up their money through the year and be able to purchase one themselves. And then often my husband and I will also let them choose a gift or two that we are paying for. And if you want to do something a little bit more creative than just sending money, you could always do Operation Christmas Child, or you can check with local churches and see if there's any families in need that they know about. We were able to do this one year. We asked our pastor, and there was a family. They gave us the ages and genders of the kids, and we still don't know who it was, but they gave us their wish list and we were able to do some shopping, and that was a really fun experience for both us and the kids. So not everything that you give your child has to be for them, and sometimes a gift of giving to charity or things like that, in addition to something under the tree, can be really impactful for your kids. All right, that is all I have for this video. Be sure to check out the next one where we will talk about some minimalist stocking stuffer ideas that won't add clutter to your house. If you want to make sure you catch that video, be sure to subscribe down below, and I will see you on the next one.